the weird dichotomy of my life as a child was that there were these absolutely horrific things happening. And then there was the pretending that we're just a normal, healthy, happy, lower middle class family. We just did quote unquote normal family shit. And that's why it messed so much with my mind, because it was almost like the Stepford Wives movie where there's like this disgusting underbelly of what is happening. But on the outside, everyone's like, oh, we're normal, like normal people. We're good people and everything's fine. That's what it was like. It messed with me so much because I knew what was going on. I felt like I couldn't say anything because I knew what he was capable of, and he was always constantly threatening to kill somebody or threatening to kill me or whatever. It was such a weird thing because on the one hand, we're just pretending that we're just this normal family, and underneath it all. And the interesting thing is that my sister really looked up to my father. It's almost like she wanted to be like him. She's still like that. And he used that to pit her against me. And so what he would do is he would always, I was treated like the dog of the family, or worse than the dog. I was the scapegoat for everybody. Everybody thought of me as like this. Even when I was a 7-year-old, people thought I was a fuck up. Because of the mind control aspect of everything, they put into my mom and my sister's heads. And my mom was actually, the mind control thing was actually working on her. What they would do in those sessions is they would say things, and it progressed over the years. So when I was that first incident, they were talking about how I was promiscuous with the neighbor boys, but then it progressed to, at some point there was another layer of it that happened where I was trying to seduce my own father. This was in multiple sessions. So I don't know how old I was, maybe like 9 when that started happening. And it's like, I want to seduce my father. I'm a harlot. They didn't use those words, but you get the gist. I'm a terrible person. I'm a drug addict. And I haven't even gotten into the drug part of it yet. But, I'm a drug addict. I'm a junkie. I remember them putting into their heads when I was 10 that I was a junkie, and my mom believed, like, she literally to this day will say those things to me and to other people, that I'm a fuck up, that I'm a drug addict, that I can't get my shit together. She will say those things to people to this day about me. That's how deeply imprinted those things ended up in her brain. That's how much this type of mind control works. And she holds on to that, because if I'm not a fuck up, then she's got to look at what she did. She's got to look internally at what she did. And she doesn't want to do that. She allowed it, but they ultimately used this technique to fully convince her that I'm this terrible person, that I'm, not that like being a drug, I don't think that being a drug addict or having issues like that means you're a terrible person. I'm saying that this is what society has been trained to believe about those types of people in society. And they used that to instill these beliefs in her brain. So like things that society already deemed as like, that's not a good thing, and I'm a thief. I stole things, like, which I think I stole one candy bar when I was a kid accidentally. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like 3, and my mom made me take it back in. When I was 15, I was stealing things from Walmart and other stores, because I was freaking out and rebelling from everything that happened to me. But I'm certainly not a thief. But they instilled like this fear of me in them. And the thing is that when they started saying the things like, your daughter's trying to seduce your husband, all of these things created huge gigantic rifts between me and my mom. We've never been able to have a normal mother-daughter relationship. Even though, she definitely portrays to other people that she's this loving, innocent, sweet mom. I remember hearing, when I was a teenager, hearing her cry to people on the phone. I don't know why she's so mean to me. I just try my best and I'm just doing my best. And it's just this total victim mentality. And everybody in my family was consistently trying to create rifts between me and anybody else that could have potentially ever cared about me or helped me. They were always telling people the worst things about me. And people bought it. People believed it because they were like upstanding parts of society. They were doing everything right. And they were like the model family, as perceived by other people. And so people really bought their bullshit. They really believed that, and a lot of them still do. People that I grew up with, other couples that my parents were friends with that knew me basically from birth, knew me since I was a very young child at least, they still believe these things about me, that I'm a fuck up, that I'm a drug addict, that I tried to seduce my own, like, what 10-year-old child would even if they did try to do that, which I didn't, but even if they did, don't you think that's obviously a cry for help, that something bad happened to this kid? Like, logic dictates that. But nobody, it's maddening because nobody used their critical thinking skills in this situation. Even if I was a drug addict, which I was at one point, but even if I was at the age of 10, like, what? Like, isn't that showing you that there is something bad happening to this child? Like, no 10-year-old is just out of their own whim, just like, oh, I think I'm gonna go shoot up heroin today. No, something happened to that child if that's going on, and so even if they believed the lies about me, nobody used their brains. And I remember thinking how fucking nuts it was. And I remember thinking, am I the crazy one? Is all of them, like, is this reality? Are all of these fucking crazy people the sane ones? Am I the fucking crazy one? I remember regularly having those thoughts, like, maybe I am the crazy one, but there was something in me that just wouldn't let me give into that. I would pretty quickly bring myself, like, no, this is fucking nuts. This is not normal behavior. It's normal on our planet, unfortunately, but it's not normal behavior in the big scheme of things, in the cosmos. People don't act like this normally. There was such a dichotomy in what was happening in my life as a child. It fucks with you because you're just being gaslit by every single person in your life. They're telling you that what you're experiencing and what you're seeing is not reality. And it is infuriating. It's enraging. And I remember just being enraged. I remember feeling the rage just coursing through my body and just being like, I need an outlet. I have to let this rage out somehow. And I did actually plot killing my father multiple times. This was when I was older. I was 10 when this happened. It was when I was to the point of like, I cannot take anymore. Nothing is going to stop this person. And he's threatening everybody around me. Something bad is going to happen. He's got to be stopped. I remember pausing and I remember something in me was like, you don't want to do this. You don't want to ruin your life and go to jail for him. You don't want to make what they're trying to make you into. They're trying to make you into a drug addict. They're trying to make you into a junkie. They're trying to make you into somebody that goes to jail for the rest of their lives, because that's what they use you, and then they want you to turn into this fuck up. And most of the kids that are used in these rings do turn into that, and they don't remember the memories of what happened to them. So they're just like a fucked up person and they don't know why. and they can't figure out why. Do you know how many times they tried to create a split in my mental? Schizophrenia is a mental split. And they tried to create that within me. I remember it was like prolonged. Again, I'm using that police analogy, the police interrogation. It was prolonged police interrogation style experience where they were literally trying to split me, my mind, because they wanted me to be crazy. They wanted me to be crazy because if I'm crazy, I'm not legitimate. If I'm crazy, nobody's going to listen to my story. That's what they do on a collective level. So many people are walking around and were abused in the way that I was abused, and they don't even know it because this hypnotism works on them because they didn't know that you can fight it, you know? And they didn't have the awareness, and that's not saying anything bad about them. It sucks. It sucks. They were always trying to mess in my mind, and they never broke me. They never broke me. And I am so proud of that because I fought hard to keep myself sane. I fought hard to keep my mind intact. You know, I had issues with severe anxiety and some depression and stuff, but I never went into more severe mental illnesses that they were trying to create, that they know how to create in people. They know how to create this in people, and they are doing it on a mass scale. Illness is not a natural thing for humans. It's not a natural thing for beings of any kind. None of the mental illnesses that our world is experiencing is a natural thing. This was all created. They learned how to force it into us, how to break us, how to fuck with us. And they're doing it on a collective level. Like, it's not just the people that are in the pedo rings. It's not just that.